I'm one of the people that come from Tembisa. I'm from this very place. You know, when I talk about the rooms that my mother built and told me to look after if I want to go to university, they're down the road from here. So if you go down, you'll pass the hospital. There's a circle at the end. You turn left. That's where those rooms are. And I think some of the people that are in this very room right now have either rented from those rooms or they've seen those rooms. And it makes me so proud to be standing here. Not proud because I've achieved something, but proud because we as a community have achieved something that's about to impact generations. You know, so I want to start out by thanking all of you for coming out here to spend the morning with us, because you could have been doing something else with your time. You know, some of you had family commitments that you postponed. Some of you had shopping to do that you postponed, but at least I'm saving you some money there, isn't it? But there's a lot of places you could have been, but you chose to spend the morning with us. So I just want to do a quick welcome to you and welcome to each and every person that is a guest this morning. And also thank the church, Tembisa Christian Family Church, for allowing us to use their venue, for allowing us to use this precious venue. You know, here's a quick fact, fun fact actually. A couple of years ago, probably over 6 years ago, when I stood here in this very church and addressed a congregation with as many people as are here, I was the youth pastor of the church. So like I said, I grew up in Tembisa. So from this very pulpit, I've seen myself guiding many young people who today, some of them are doctors, some of them are lawyers, some of them are engineers, some of them are business people. You know, I always said when we did the seminars across the country, and I said to the people, I said, you know, everywhere where you go and do some form of training, it's preparing you for somewhere where you are going. You know, back in the days, I remember Pabalo and I were joking the other day. She said to me, you were so shy. What happened to you? How did you blossom? And I thought about it and I said, the training to communicate publicly came when I took up the call to become a youth leader in church. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to stand in front of so many people and talk. You know, those who know me personally, they know that actually I'm a bit of a shy person. But through the training that we got in church, here we are. We are talking publicly, we are impacting people, and I think we are impacting generations because of that. You know, so when I look at those young people that now are working, when back then they were like 14, 13, 15, and today they too come and say, Witness, how do I buy property? I've got my first pay slip now. Guide me. The pride that comes out of that makes me happy. But the biggest question then becomes, why are we here? Why are we gathered in this room? Why did we wake up early in the morning to come and gather here and talk about what we call AddProp? I think having gone through the country, having done seminars, having engaged with people, it made me realize that there is a huge gap in terms of how people that are starting out in the property industry are managing their portfolios. It gives me my own reminder of how I started. No spreadsheets back then, just writing down. I remember this one tenant, his name is Brapita. I don't know how much Brapita still owes me to this day. Because every time he had to pay rent, there was a story. And I lost track of how much, eventually I lost track of how much this guy actually owns. Because his rental was 800. This week he'll give you 200. And then the other week he'll give you 100 rands. And then he'll say, Mchana, What that means is that he said, he kept on saying he's waiting for his pension. Many years later, almost probably 15, 16 years later, I'm still waiting for his pension to clock so he pays rent. So that makes me realize, or made me realize, the importance of proper record keeping in business and having the right tools to do business. AddProp was built for people like my mother, who, had she not passed 11 years ago, probably would be sitting in this very room right now as part of the audience, because this is where she used to sit. I remember as a young person, she was partially crippled because she had had a stroke, but this is the very place where I used to hold her hand and walk with her and bring her into the church and walk out with her and take her home. You know, when I look at the streets of Tembisa, this is the place where I would drive her to the very hospital, Tembisa Hospital, where she used to work for about 32 years. But at the latter part, before she passed, she had decided to go back to work despite the fact that she was partially crippled. And she used to say to me, "Witty, I'm doing this so that you could be educated. I'm doing this so that when I'm gone, you do not need to depend on anyone else except the fact that you have been taught to do something." And when I think of people like her, I think of your mother, not just her. Now I think of your mother who has built back rooms. I think of your father who has built back rooms. I think of the young witness, some who might be sitting here, some who might be at home, that are starting out in their journey in property. And that's who AddProp was built for. AddProp was built for the young person, the old person, the middle-aged person that says, "I want to list my unit on the internet and find somebody to buy it and find somebody to rent it, but I don't know how." It's built for that young person that says, "I want to make an impact in property. My portfolio is growing. I need to know how to manage it. Can I have the tools to do so?" AddProp is built for you. This launch is mainly a mark of a milestone. It's not necessarily us saying we are starting. It's us saying we have the momentum. It is us saying that all of us that are here have contributed to listing over 500 million worth of property within 3 months, 90 days. Can you believe it? You know, people coming out and saying, yes, you can give yourselves a round of applause. It is us saying we have decided as a people within 90 days to join all 5,000 plus of us, and I think we've surpassed 6,000 by now, saying we want to use AddProp. We want to be part of the story. We want to be part of something that is going to be shaping the next generation, and that's why we built AddProp. We built it because we want to create a bridge between that young plumber that is starting out, that young electrician that is starting out, that is saying, "I want to be able to service the property industry, but I don't know how to. I want to be able to connect with those that have got houses, those that have got buildings." I had a meeting in Cape Town with someone who has over 8,000 units, and we were talking AddProp. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there. You know, of course I wasn't shaking. I don't shake easily, but I was sitting there looking at him and saying, wow, geez, this guy has built a company that has got over 8,000 units. And here I am, a young boy from Tembisa in Sea Point. I'm having a meeting with him, and I'm boldly saying AddProp can make a difference in your business. That without forgetting the young boy that's in Tembisa that is managing his dad's room, that is saying, I need to go to university, but I need to do it properly so I can scale my business. AddProp is built for those people. AddProp is built for you. So this is not just a launch, it's a mark in history. It is us saying that we do not have to wait for other people to build tools for us. We have the capacity to build the tools ourselves. AddProp is a representation of what our team is capable of. Young, black, talented, committed to excellence, and willing to serve. When I think of AddProp, I think about the fact that Now you do not have to worry about finding somebody to come and fix your geyser, because right on the platform, as a tenant, as a landlord, as a property owner, you can go on the platform and make a request. My geyser needs to be fixed. A service provider nearest to you can see the request, give an invoice, and come out to fix your geyser without you having to worry. It is built because you need to list a property for sale. It is built because you need to list a property for rental. It is built because you need to manage your property investment portfolio. It is built because you need to find creative and innovative ways to maintain your property investment portfolio. It is built because you want to grow, you want to be better, and you want to take your life to the next level. It is built because we are saying we are not going to tolerate poverty, and therefore we'll find ways in which to create an inclusive platform for all of us to participate in what we may call the economic revolution without necessarily associating with a certain political party. And I'm sure you can say amen to that. It is built because we have decided that we are not going to wait for the government to create wealth for people, that we are not going to wait for anybody to give us inclusion. We will create it ourselves. You know, a lot of people, when I meet them, always say to me, where did you get the money to build this thing? Where did the resources come from? Are you backed? Are you funded? Is your confidence coming from the fact that you have backing? Let me tell a quick story about AddProp. A couple of years ago, 2018, I was in my office in Midrand, and a thought hit my mind that we need to build a platform of our own. I had rooms, I had apartments, I was managing an office block, and I kept on thinking, what is a way in which we could be able to list, we could be able to manage, we could be able to have a community? And that day in 2018, I sat down and wrote a 30-page document on a business called Property Juice. Don't laugh at the name. But that was the name of the business. But Property Juice, back then, as I wrote the document, emailed the document to myself, did not take off. In fact, I even forgot about that business. Until 2020, I wrote It's More Than Just Money and built the It's More Than Just Money movement, community, right? In Property Juice, there was an element of mixing community, on the ground people with technology, listing, management, all of it. Built It's More Than Just Money, and a couple of years ago decided to build the tech element of it without ever thinking about that document. It was last year in November when it hit me that everything that we had been building is what we wrote in that document, or well, what I wrote in that document in 2018. I say we because probably the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit were with me, isn't it? The document was written, but I thought about it recently. And when I started to read it, I couldn't help but be emotional because it spoke of a journey. Every single thing that we did with It's More Than Just Money. Every single thing that we are doing with AddProp was documented in that document. And it made me realize, and let me be spiritual for those of you that are spiritual. Habakkuk 2 verse 2. Anyone knows what it says? It says, write the vision down. Make it plain on tablet. And those who read it will run with it. So that speaks to vision documentation. For those of you who visualize, writing your goals down, writing your dream down, the importance of having written it down, I think it's more about knowing for a fact that it does not come from me, it's not for me, but it's for you guys. You guys that are saying you want to build property investment portfolio. What is the possibility moving forward as I'm about to take my seat? What is the possibility now? The possibility is limitless. The possibility is in young people joining as service providers, becoming those who refer others to the platform. The possibility is in you starting with one room, starting with one flat, starting with one apartment, one building, starting where you are and making sure that you are managing this as a professional business. You looking at your property investment portfolio not just as a room, but as something that could grow. If somebody can have 8,000 units, why can't you? If someone can have 20,000 units, why can't you? You look almost as 100 units. At some point, I had 100 units. But if those of us that are doing it or have done it can do it, my question is, why can't you? Why can't you participate? If you don't have capacity to run a property business, why don't you grow your plumbing business? We're giving you the tool. Or why don't you grow your electrical business? We're giving you the tools. Why don't you grow your painting business? Why don't you grow your cleaning business? Why don't you grow your tile manufacturing business? Why don't you grow your business where you are doing woodwork, carpentry? Why can't you participate in the industry? We are giving you the tools to be able to do so. AddProp belongs to you. AddProp belongs to all of us. AddProp does not belong to Witness Mdaka. It belongs to those who are saying, I want to participate in the property ecosystem. I want to participate in the property revolution. We have fights behind the scenes with my team. We look composed and coordinated right now. But the fights that we have, we know that we are building something that's beyond us. It's for an entire generation. Black, white, Indian, those of you that are starting, those of you that are growing. I had a meeting with an Indian man I say man, but he's a young man, probably younger than me. And he asked me a question. He says, Witness, I have 150 units that I'm looking after. And only 30 of those units are mine. The rest I'm managing on behalf of a consortium. Tell me, Witness, is AddProp going to go away or is it going to stay? And I want to take a stand today, standing here, and reassure him and reassure some of you who could be having the same question and say to you, AddProp is only beginning and AddProp is here to stay and AddProp is here to make a difference. And what is next? Yes, you can give that a round of applause. We are building also a marketplace that we're introducing, where if you are selling any product, be it bricks, cement, sand, doors, tiles, wood, anything that you might want to sell that is connected to the property industry, you'll be able to sell it on the AddProp marketplace. That is next. So we are growing. The listing platform, people are listing, agencies are listing, we are serving the property industry. People are using the platform to manage their property investment portfolios. Service providers are joining. But we're also saying, let's create a marketplace, a real place where exchange of funds, people can make money, where it can take place, right? With over 500 million worth of property listed in 3 months, we are approaching 700 million. I keep saying over 500 because I don't want to keep remembering the actual figure. In the next few months, we will have listed over 1 billion. Can you imagine? And I always say, where were all these properties? Were they waiting for us? Is it because it's not as easy to list on other platforms? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because AddProp is answering those questions for all of us sitting here. And ladies and gentlemen, please give yourselves a round of applause for becoming part of history. Thank you.
At a very young age, what is the biggest myth people